Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Franco here, and I'm back with another builder-based video today. And I made this video because someone in my clan, my friend Brew Crew here, was like, "Hey," or he was texting me in real life. He's like, "Yo, like, what do you think of this base?" And he showed me like a certain base, and I was like, "Yo, I would just go in with like balloons and minions and everything." And he was like, he tried it, and he was like, "Oh my God, it was horrible. Like, it couldn't get past the like first half of the stage." It said, or I can only get past first stage like half the time. It's so bad. And I did make a video about this, about pushing with that strategy, and I'll link it at the end of the video if you're interested, but I think this video is more applicable. So what this video is about is the top strategies that you can do at anywhere. Honestly, I don't know the range, but I want to say 5,000 to like 5,500, which I feel like the majority of builder-based players are in. But I think I'm a little bit biased because I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I think I'm a little bit higher than the average player skill-wise when it comes to builder-base, even though I really don't ever post on it. And I have been pretty lazy. I haven't really been doing any builder base now that my builder base is completely maxed, except for the walls on stage 2. That I just haven't really been doing attacks. And when my friend sent me that message, I was like, I was trying to explain it to him, and then I was like, wait, why don't I just make another builder base video? I know I made that one on that attack strategy, but I think making it on the attack strategies that work the best is probably a good idea. So this is the first attack strategy that is honestly the simplest to do, and I honestly recommend learning this one first. Like, I think this is applicable from 0 builder base trophies all the way up to 5,000. Like, I'm doing this at 5. I did this one at 5,100 because I got a couple 200% and just cruised up like a couple hundred trophies here. But this works against almost fully maxed out bases, literally air machine and all baby dragons. There's not much more to it. All baby dragons can swarm a base really well. And if you see, there's a lot of ground defenses on the first village, and a ground expo for sure. And it's pretty spread out. That means it's a perfect combination for the baby dragons, because baby dragons work the best when they don't interfere with each other. So you want to make sure it's a pretty spread out base, and there's not a lot of air defenses, which I thought that base met the criteria pretty well. And it's pretty simple. Like, you have a lot of power too, so you can wipe pretty maxed out bases. So I think this base was fully maxed out, except for these couple walls here and obviously this bomb here. But that's kind of like what you're facing up against at like 5,000 trophies. But even on my other accounts, like my secondary accounts and stuff that I just like have to farm builder based stuff to try to get the 6th builder, I only use all baby dragons and force close the game. And that's what I've been doing on main account here. It is just such a powerful and brainless attack strategy that if you really want to push up in builder based trophies, ignore the rest of this video. Just practice using all baby dragons and the air machine. Let the air machine cook a little bit on some of the trash buildings, and then once he starts to get targeted, launch in the baby dragons, and you should be 3-starring a lot of bases until you get roughly to like 5,000 trophies. But yeah, that's my biggest recommendation for this strategy, and I don't think I'm going to show another replay doing this strategy because it is pretty easy to do. There is one other variation you can do, and you can bring a cannon cart instead of another baby dragon on the first stage, so your 6th baby dragon would just not be there and you'd have a cannon cart, and you can just use that cannon cart to knock out some trash buildings and everything. Because you can see what I do here is I come in with the 2 cannon carts for my reinforcement camps, because I think the cannon carts are so powerful with this strategy on the 2nd base, because then you can just snipe out those air defenses, everything. You can just get so much value, and then hopefully you had enough baby dragons left over from the first stage to clean up the 2nd stage to get the 200% there. So if you carry an extra cannon cart on stage 1, then you won't really need it on stage 2. And I would scroll back, but for whatever reason, builder base gets glitched. But you can see, like, most of my attacks were just this. Like, I would just spam in baby dragons and force close the game. If you don't know what that means, you just drop in all your troops, and right here I double tap the home button and close out the game, and it automatically simulates this attack all the way through. Like, I didn't even do this attack. And just doing this, you can get 100% on every base, basically. Obviously, if they're very high level, it's not going to work and everything, but it works for most bases, and then the replay ends there because I wasn't on it, so I didn't even get the rest of the attack. So that's what I've been doing this season, just to farm loot. But that shows how powerful it is. The second attack strategy that I do want to show, Actually, I don't want to show this one yet. The next strategy that if you feel pretty confident with baby dragons, the next one you should do is the ground pekka strategy. So this is another pretty simple attack strategy, and I recommend this if you're like, hey, this base has a lot of air defenses, and I really can't. It's kind of compact, and there's not many ground defenses, and you're like, the baby dragons won't work because obviously that strategy is not going to work on every base. What you can do is you can just ground spam here, and it works pretty well for the same reason that the baby dragon attack strategy works. Is you can have a lot of powerful troops that are left over. Baby dragons are one of the best troops to have on the second stage. Obviously, the cannon cart is the best, but pekkas are also one of the best troops to have carry over, even if they just have like half health or something. So this one you just spam in pekkas, and I recommend carrying 2 wall breakers because you want to have 2 funnels for the pekkas to travel through into the base. Because if you have them all in one, then splash defenses will take out a lot of their health, and they probably won't carry through the base. So it seems a little weird that you sacrifice a whole pekka worth of health or HP to carry another wall breaker for like a pointless decision, but you have to do that or else the pekkas will stack too much and probably die. And the main thing is just be on top of your pekka abilities. You really want to pop it. I messed up there, but if you saw, there was a crusher that crushed, and if you pop it right as soon as I get to the crusher, a lot of times you can take the power, whatever, the explosion damage, and then the Pekka can also get a swing before the Crusher even goes off. So you can really take advantage of those abilities, and that's another skill ceiling with this strategy that can really help you out there. And I do not recommend using cannon carts on this strategy because it is slower than the Baby Dragons, and you can't really just chill for a little bit. You do kind of need the full allotted time to get through the base. So once again, you gotta just use the cannon carts on the back end of the base here. And you saw I threw in a giant there, and you can mess with a giant. Obviously, depends on what troops you have maxed out, but I think the baby dragon is the first thing you want to max out. Then the pekka, or then the cannon carts, then the pekkas. Giants are kind of like one of those things that you don't really want to max out, but obviously I maxed out my build race a long time ago, so I have him. And it's kind of niche. If you see there's a bunch of damage right in the beginning of the attack, and you're like, hey, if I could just have something soak up all that damage instead of a pekka, because the pekka would die and not really do that much damage output anyway, a giant can be helpful. So obviously my giant perished there, but he does soak up a lot of damage, especially with his ability, and if you want to, you can use a giant. Now there's obviously other variations of this attack strategy with super wizards, more giants, less pekkas, sometimes no pekkas, but I think ultimately this is the base for how to do this attack strategy. The base is just 4 pekkas, 2 wall breakers, and then on the second stage, double cannon carts. And if you're It depends if you want to use the air or ground battle machine. Most likely the first stage had a lot of air defenses, so the air machine is going to get a lot of value. So if your ground machine is low, you probably don't want to use them on the second stage, and you kind of just want to like try to wipe out the majority of the base with the cannon carts, and then the air machine too. And then the pekkas and wall breakers, you're just using them at the very end. Right here there was about, I think, 30 seconds left, so I finished this base with not too much, or maybe there was like 20 seconds left. I finished this base pretty close to the clock, but you just want to throw in those pekkas at the very end just for cleanup, because they're really not going to get too much value against this base at least. But it ended up being another 6-star. I was like, I want to like flex my brain for a bit and just try the strategies that I haven't tried in a little while, just to see like how skilled I am in build race. And I just got 200%, 200%, and I was just like, I got to make a video just recapping this. And this is the final attack strategy that I think, if you learn this, you have a very high skill ceiling in builder base. I want to say 5,500 trophies, but potentially you could even push it further. You could even go to like 6,000. If you master this attack strategy, I think this is the hardest attack strategy to do in builder base. It involves a lot of micromanaging and a lot of multitasking, but if you recognize it in a base, you can absolutely destroy bases. But the main thing here, so you see I'm coming in with all cannon carts and archers. So the main issue is time, obviously, because cannon carts are slow and everything. But what you want to do is you want to chip off as many of these trash buildings as you can with the cannon carts. Well, everything's a trash building essentially, because the cannon carts outrange everything, and you just have to watch for the things that it doesn't outrange. So the archer towers, the giant cannon, and I saw there was no lava launcher on this first stage. So that's kind of a pretty good green flag to use cannon carts, because it's hard to get to the middle lava launcher when you're using this strategy, and that's like kind of the hard part of it. But when you see all the far range defenses, like the giant cannon, archer towers on long range, like I said, are near the outside of the base, you can just pick them off with 2 archers. If you drop 2 archers, you can pick off any of those defenses. Obviously, I pulled a Tesla on that one, so I had to drop like 3 or something, and you always have to account for that. So if you carry 2 packs of archers and you see there were 2 archer towers on the outsides and this 1 giant cannon, I allocate 2, 2, and 2 archers, so that's 6 archers, and you want to just round up. Obviously, you can only carry packs of 4, so sometimes I would even take an extra pack, because you see a lot of these cannon carts are kind of idle and there's not much they can do, because if I push them in, they're going to get taken out by the giant cannon. But at this point, time is ticking down and you got to rush them in, because how else is that giant cannon going to get down? The air machine goes down, so at some point you got to time it right to push them in. And I want to save these archers because they're going to be super useful on the back end if I have their full ability. And really, this strategy is pretty hard to do, but if you can get it down and finish with an adequate amount of time, you can wreck bases, I think, at any trophy level. Obviously, when you get push higher in trophies, because I'm pretty low in trophies right now, so that's why I'm getting all 200%, low relative to me, which is like 5,200 to 5,500. None of the bases are really defending against cannon carts, so that is the main thing that changes when you push higher in trophies, is that most of the bases try to somehow defend it. So they'll have like a 2-layer gap. So like, see this little gap here? Like, they'll have that between the archer tower. And the main thing is the archers themselves, the troop, cannot shoot over a 2-tile gap. So then all those long-range defenses are essentially covered completely, so it kind of nullifies being able to use archers to pick them off. So that's where it gets tricky, and you really don't see many of those bases at all until, like I said, like 5,400-ish trophies. So if you know this attack strategy and you can do it, obviously I said baby dragons are helpful all the way up from 0 trophies, but if for whatever reason you're like, because this is hard to do, this strategy, and it's like inconsistent because it's very hard, you can push up instantly till you would 200% every single base up till 5,400 trophies. But I am hesitant to do this attack strategy just because, like I said, the skill is very hard and I do fail a lot of times. And usually it just comes down to time fail, or if you just mismanage one cannon cart and accidentally send him the way that he wasn't supposed to go and he gets picked off by a cannon, then you're screwed and you lose a lot of your firepower. So that's why, like, if you haven't really mastered the baby dragons and the pekkas, which can cover air and can cover ground, I don't really recommend trying this attack strategy. But once you get those down and you really are struggling pushing up higher in trophies, I recommend doing that attack strategy. And the final attack strategy that I did want to show, I didn't get an attack doing it, but I figure we can go into a live attack here, and I'll just force it on the base no matter what. Actually, this isn't the worst base to try it. So this is another generic spam strategy that I did make in a previous video, but you just use all minions and pekkas, and what you want to do is you want to attack from the roaster side or the air bomb side, because the splash damage, if you take it out right away, then the minions can really carry through on the back end. And what you want to do with this air machine is you kind of just want to pick off enough buildings. Okay, that was a horrible placement. It's hard to do attacks live, but I did want to show off this army composition, and this will be the last attack strategy I do this video. But you want to drop in the air machine and pick off enough buildings without him getting attacked that he can. And then once he starts to get like targeted, or you just use him as a funnel, so I would just use him right on that barracks and funnel these troops in perfectly to go against all these defenses. Then you want to start dropping in the troops, because you have to time it so that he's tanking enough on the back end that it intercepts at the perfect time these minions and balloons, which the timing might work out here a little bit. Maybe I should have delayed the minions and balloons a little bit. It is a little bit of a feel thing there. And you want to pop the balloons abilities when they're over multiple defenses just to chain up that bomb that they give. And as long as the flamethrower and the air bombs go down, realistically the minions can carry through the rest of the base, which hopefully they do here. We do still have that giant Tesla. Yeah, it goes down, and I'm going to pop the ability of the air machine here just to hopefully advance it in to tank for the archer tower, which is not gonna, which is a little bit tragic. And the main thing is these bombs on the back end that can take out the minions. honestly, this base wasn't too ideal. It was pretty compact, so it is okay to do with this strategy. And the main thing with this strategy is, wow, I can't believe how well I'm talking while doing this strategy, which is kind of funny because this is not the easiest one to do. The main issue is that you won't have a lot of troops or options for the back end. So this back end, I try to do double cannon carts, but a lot of time it's not enough force to get through. So you try to plan where you can use the air machine and the minions to hopefully take out enough ground defenses so that the cannon carts can wipe out the rest of the base. So maybe the air machine I'll drop from the top corner to take out the cannon and the multi mortar so that the cannon carts can actually take out the rest of the base. But realistically, this isn't a 200% strategy. So this strategy is really just like the last resort. If none of those previous three actually work, you throw this one, and hopefully, like something sticks against the wall, and you manage to pull something out that maybe is a 200%. But this one, usually you just end up getting high percents, but it kind of guarantees when you see a super hard first base that you are going to 3-star it. Doesn't guarantee, obviously it works against only certain bases, but it is a pretty good strategy to learn. And this strategy kind of works pretty well only at very high trophies. So I really never even have to use this strategy because realistically, one of the previous three is going to work really well at lower trophies there. But this strategy starts to become pretty applicable roughly at like 5,500 trophies. Like that and higher is when you want to start using this attack strategy. Below that, realistically, baby dragons are going to be a better air option, or the cannon cart archer towers if there's a lot of air defenses and everything, or a lot of ground defenses. But realistically, I don't recommend this strategy. It isn't very consistent at all. But like I said, if you have no other option, you gotta rip it sometimes. So I'm ripping it here, and realistically, I think this is gonna be a fail. Maybe these, yeah, actually, it's kind of hard to tell. Maybe actually, whoa, this might actually go through. If those minions can take out that cannon, which I don't think they can, I accidentally pushed that cannon cart too far forward too fast. This might still work, actually. Let's go to ground setting. Hopefully the cannon carts can survive here. We have 31 seconds, so they might be able to push through all this. Gotta pop number 7 so he doesn't get in range. Number 8 can work on the crusher there. Actually, this might be a 3-star. I was not expecting... Oh, it is a 3-star. Oh, no, we have Teslas on the back end. I actually think this is going to be a time fail instead, which is not the greatest thing. Yeah. So there we go. This is going to be 197%. That cannon cart's just getting played with on some spring traps, and we're not actually going to get to that Tesla in time. But yeah, I mean, that's this strategy too. It actually went significantly better than I thought it would. But let me know what you guys think of these strategies, and if there's any that I'm actually missing, because like I mentioned, there is a super wizard giant strategy that I've used to mess with, but I didn't master it, and it's pretty hard to do. And you can see I'm getting a lot of defenses because I'm just low in trophies with a maxed out layout. This isn't my layout that I actually use. But yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. And if you're interested in seeing the balloon strategy that I mentioned before at 5,500 trophies, click on the link in the video, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.